Hello and welcome to Cannonball Diva Chronicles, where uplifting the downtrodden is our focus. I'd like to introduce myself a little bit more today, starting with that name, Cannonball Diva, which I realize is an edgy name. For those of you who don't know, it's a compilation of the names of my four sons and their father and myself. And the B in the ball stands for Biosa and all of us. So the ALL is all of us, and then the Diva is it stands for I being the only diva in the midst of men or boys, so to speak. So that name, aside from it being very edgy, stands for canon would stand for something that's very strong and is able to break into different, like you use a cannonball, for example, to break down old homes when you're trying to build new ones. So it's very symbolic for me because I'm trying to break down the old stereotypes of women who have been downtrodden, who stay in the corner in the dark while being downtrodden and stepped all over. And also this forum is to reach out to those types of women and even men to find out how we can discuss getting them into a better situation for their own benefits and benefits of their loved ones. So that Cannonball Diva, it means very much because it's also the name of my fashion line, which I started in 2014 when I went back to Nigeria as something to do to keep myself busy while my children were still in kindergarten and in grade school. And I managed to start a fashion line at that point, which is still existing. And that's the name of the fashion line, is Cannonball Diva. And another reason I chose the canon, like I said, it stands for something very strong and it's able to break down barriers. And I'm hoping that my forum assists a lot of people as time goes on. We're still very new. To realize how they can empower themselves to get better situated in life and do things that can help empower them and put them in an environment that is uplifting for them. Having said that, I'm also a nurse practitioner and an ICU nurse, and I've been one for 20 years. So that's just a little bit of a background of myself. Today I'd like to talk about, there's a woman who has been on Instablog who I watched a few days ago who really got me thinking about the downtrodden of women in Nigeria who have been very downtrodden and who are not able to speak up. Thankfully, this woman came up and was brave enough to speak up about how she had been treated by her ex-husband, who she had 2 young children for. One was 1 year and 2 months and one was 2 years and 5 months. The boy was 2 years and 5 months. And she talked about how he left her after she had established a very successful business in making up and makeup artist industry. In the makeup artist industry, she had worked very hard to build a brand, and this brand had been doing very well. And according to her, the name of the brand is Face of Africa, I think. And after establishing this business for many years and being the breadwinner of the family, her husband not having a full-time job or a stable income, she had provided for the family for many years, only for this man to use her resources to empower himself. And empowered himself to the point where he was able to travel out or go into an industry that was very beneficial and profitable for him. And this man at that point abandoned her and the children. And she has also mentioned that at some point she had bought a new car and she believed that was the genesis of her problems in her marriage. She had talked about how after she showed the picture of the car. It was an SUV, a very beautiful white SUV, which had surprised her husband by, allowing him to see the person who had delivered the paper for her to sign for the after they had delivered the car to her, she had been asked to sign. But when the person who had brought the paper in for them to sign for the car, that wrongly assumed that the car belonged to her husband and had gone towards her husband with that paper for him to sign. Her husband had looked at the man in an askance way. He wasn't sure why. And then she had just said, no, the car belongs to me. Bring it this way. And then the guy had brought the car to the paper for her to sign for receiving the car. And that's, I think, she said she believes that's what caused the problem, because when the man had she had signed for the car and said, no, it belongs to me, it's mine. I don't see anything wrong with that, but I'm airing this story because I want you guys out there to judge for yourselves if what she did was wrong. Because I read some of the commentary, which I like to do when I watch any video that piques my interest. I like to see what the mindset of people who have watched the video, or what their beliefs or what they believe is right or wrong about that video, what their own opinions are about the video. So I'd read through a lot of the comments, and one of the comments struck me as being really, I would say, interesting. One of the men, they had mentioned that, your husband was not happy at the way you had reacted when they had delivered the car to you and had asked to sign. You could have just pretended that the car belonged to him to save face for him and to protect his dignity. You should have allowed him to take the car and pretend that it belonged to him, just so that he doesn't lose face in the eye of the guy who had delivered the car to you. That small gesture alone would have made him feel more like a man, and it would have empowered him. And then you as a woman would have gotten the glory secretly, but he would have gotten the glory, publicly. I want you guys out there, those of you that have an opinion about things like this, let me know your thoughts, because I thought what she did was innocent enough. She didn't make him look bad, in my opinion. It depends on how she has said what she said, because she's telling us this now in her own words, and as a third person or a second person, we are listening, and we weren't there when she said what she said to the man that delivered the car. But from the story she said on Instablog, she had just innocently told the man, no, that car is mine, and signed for it. And I have a video that's very similar, but this time it's in the Western world, I believe in somewhere in the United States, where a very similar story or similar video has been posted, completely not connected in any way, but I'd seen it a few days ago, and I said, wow, what a very similar story to the one this woman in Nigeria had said. A woman in America, I believe she's a Black American, she has the accent of a Black American woman, and she has said, I surprised my husband and told him to meet me in a dealership, and I want him to come and see the surprise I have. Apparently she had bought an SUV. This SUV is high-end. I believe it's either a BMW, the latest one, very beautiful dark green color. And she had told her husband to meet her there. I think he had assumed she was getting an older car, and he had come there to see the car and walked towards an old version of what he assumed was the car she had bought. I'll show you the video shortly. And she had just said no. And the guy who in the dealership had brought a big Red Bull and walked towards her, and she said, yes, no, not that car, yes, you can. He said, can I place it on the car? And she said yes. And at some point she had also said no. And the guy and the husband, take note of this, be very honest of what your opinion is, because the husband had looked shocked and looked at her with eyes wide open. Is that our car? Did you buy that car? He said to her in shock. And he said, is that for us? She was like, nope, it's mine. And obviously the guy didn't look upset, and I believe that they have a good enough relationship and a good foundation for them to joke about it, because he looked really excited, and he said, is that our car? Something to that effect. Just watch it and let me know what you think, and sum it up, because this is exactly a similar story to this one that this Nigerian woman just said. Why would a man abandon his family? Tell me. A 1 year and 2 month old girl and a 2 year and 5 year old, 2 years and 5 month old boy who he fathered, just because things became better for him, just because he became more successful at her expense. Because remember, she had put the funds forward for him to build himself up, and for him to get to the point where he was able to become successful in his trade, whatever that trade is, she did mention. But he became successful and started to make money, and that's the exact time he had left her. When he met her, he had nothing. She funded the household. She paid the bills. He didn't have enough. So why leave her now? And this woman is very strikingly beautiful, in my opinion. Why leave her now after 2 children? I believe that people who believe that they can do this kind of things because things become better for them, what then happens? Because nothing is 100% secure. What then happens when he loses his money? What then happens if he runs into some difficulty in life financially? What then happens? Is he going to run back with his tail between his legs to beg? Or is he going to look for the next person to take advantage of? Because in my opinion, he took advantage of her situation. He took advantage of the fact that she was financially secure. and used her while he could to benefit himself, and then dumped her. And you know what really broke my heart in this video? Watching her cry and talk about how she had called him many times after she had lost her business. I don't know what happened, because another thing again, this might even be, aside from it being financial, sometimes businesses die. That is, the economy is very, we all know how the economy and the naira in Nigeria is going and is headed. So many things could have caused her business to fail. But then another thing again, is a spiritual component, is that sometimes the evil eyes are on your business, and from people who do not love you or care about you. And when you open yourself to a man like that, I believe, who didn't really care about her truly, only God knows what he would have done. Only God knows. Let's leave it that way. Let's just leave it at that. But suffice to say that she called him many times after he had left, and only for him to tell her he wasn't coming back at some point. And I believe maybe at that time he had gone abroad, from the story, from the way she discussed where he was at that point. He had said he wasn't coming back. So I'm assuming he was in the Western world. He had traveled abroad. And she was shocked and said, why did you have to wait this long? Why did you keep this from me? If there's something I've done, why didn't you just tell me instead of doing this? And she had been so distraught about his decision. But that as time went on, as time progressed, her financial situation worsened, even to the point where she couldn't feed herself and her children. And she had called to beg him to send him money. And I would like you guys to watch the video first of how this woman in America had bought a car and surprised her husband, who seemed genuinely happy that they had bought a car. And he assumed that the car belonged to them, because obviously they're a couple. And the way it's also reflected from the woman's perspective, that is the Nigerian, how her husband was offended, or she has assumed he was offended at the way she had done exactly the same thing as this American woman, but she had been judged so harshly for it and paid dearly for it, because she became a single mother caring for 2 children and was left to fend for herself in every way, to the point where she was living in a house that, when at some point the POP had fallen down when her son was lying there underneath the ceiling, a part of the POP has fallen, and she showed it and almost hit her son. And the landlord had come after her to pay the rent, and she couldn't afford to pay. And the landlord had told her to her face, your husband has left you. Why are you still here? You need to leave my house if you can't pay. And she cried in this video. And it brought tears to my eyes to see someone that was once so successful in this kind of situation. So please, I would like you guys to watch. I'm going to put the videos side by side, and I want you to listen to her story. I have a small short clip of her story, and I'm going to come back, and then you guys can always comment to let me know your thoughts, because this is so heartrending to watch. And I hope that for those of us who are making so many sacrifices in our relationships, please, please, please try and be very prayerful. Be very prayerful before you get into a relationship where the person is all just there to use you when it's easy for them to use you, and then leave you when things are good for them. Shine your eyes out there. Make una dey shine on an eye, because many people out there are wolf in sheep clothing.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, that's nice, but is it, what do you think?
Kelly, you want me to just put a bow on it?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. All right.
Babe, over here.
Why are you putting the bow on that car? I'm sorry? Is this what you bought?
Yeah.
Kelly!
What do you think?
This is us?
Yeah, well, it's me, but yes.
I can drive it?
No.
Kelly! Did you buy a car?
Yeah, what do you think?
My daughter was just 1 year and 2 months when he left. My son was 2 years and 5 months. I had them back to back. So the stress is so much. I would message him, beg him, what happened? Okay, you had all this in your mind and you could not tell me to my face. You had to wait. This is cowardly. You had to wait to travel and then text me. Okay, where do you want me to go now? How do you want me to start from? I'm not working currently. I have no income coming in. I'm left with these 2 children. I thought my world had crumbled when he sent the message. The message was just the beginning of how my world started to crumble. I would message him tell him no food, nothing, nothing. Sometimes this guy will send 2,000 naira. Yeah. From Face of Beauty Nigeria, that I was earning millions, to 2,000 for 2 children plus myself. Many times, like that 2 days, I will go 2 days straight and I won't eat. 2019, my I don't want to talk about this book. I won't eat. Because of course, if you send me 2,000, sometimes you send 5,000. The first thing I'm thinking is diaper, wipe, children's food. I can't buy adult food from it. And with the state of the country, how much adult food would I buy? I won't eat, like I will go a whole day and then the next day. Then if I want to eat like in the evening. There are times, this same person that the messages he started to say, man, the things he was saying to me, if I wasn't even strong small, I swear I would have slept on the road. Sometimes I would be so hungry, I would just message him. Somebody else said I would not message, please, I'm hungry. Then he would send me 2,000, sometimes 5,000. My son was lying down on this chair. This thing fell on him. It has been falling. The room has been falling. You see, they are locked. If I show you, the house has been leaking. I was supposed to have left since, but there was no money. Then it now came to jam the quick notice they gave me. There was no money as well. My children will get sick because the house is leaking. It has molds. They will get sick every week. I would treat every week. I had no choice than to go and be staying with my neighbor. It's just too much. Like him living here, man. It has changed. It has changed my life. Like sometimes my son will be like, I want daddy, I want my daddy. Like that's the most, out of everything, that's the most heartbreaking thing. And then he will say, I want my daddy, I want my daddy. Even yesterday, he still said, I want my daddy. Sometimes I'll say, oh, that is Jesus. He will say, no, like all those things breaks my heart so much.
Take note of how the man in America, the spouse, had asked his wife, can I drive it? And she said, nope, I think it was just a joke. I mean, I don't think he lost face in the eye of the person that delivered the car to them, or where they had picked up the car. But then, like I said before, it's all about the context in which the Nigerian woman had said what she said when the car was delivered to her and her husband. I mean, how much more can someone say something as simple as, no, it's for me, I'll sign the paper? How much more haughty or proud can someone sound if she just said what she said simply? No, the car is mine, I'll sign. You know? And it's not something both of them could have talked about right then on the spot. Maybe if it was a surprise, like she said it was, it would have made no sense for her to have told her husband before the car had been delivered. Then it would no longer be a surprise at that point. So the fact that she wanted it to be a surprise, a pleasant surprise for both of them, because obviously the car belongs to both of them. They would drive the car together. Just like in the American couple's case. The woman was just joking and bluffing when she said, nope. Because obviously you can hear the laughter in her voice when she said no. When the guy said, can I drive it? Like a kid, you know? But like, you know, we have some very traditional men out there who would take offense. And again, I think it has a lot to do with self-esteem. Those who lack self-esteem see something, a big deal in every little gesture. Their ego is hurt. They feel very, very stepped on. They feel very insulted, and they feel very like, how dare you, you know? If that's how he felt, then too bad, because this woman looks like a hardworking woman. I mean, nobody knows how she is behind closed doors, so it's hard to judge. But based on how she was just openly telling her story and crying at some point, she couldn't hold back. I really feel like we should, you know, reach out our hand to help her if possible. But then again, you know, sometimes you say things. I've watched a video where it says, and this is completely not related to this video that I'm talking about. I have watched someone say before, when someone starts to experience difficulty in their lives, sometimes you don't know why. Is that a lesson that they're getting from God to correct their path or their wrong steps that they've taken in the past? Is that a way of God trying to teach them to be better human beings going forward? you know, you be the judge, but I believe that everyone deserves a second chance. And for her husband to have just gotten up and left her with 2 children, these are the years when they need him the most. And for the boy to be crying for his daddy all the time, and the woman being so distraught and so depressed about the fact that she can't provide the father to this boy every time he asks, is heartrending. It's very important for us to think about our actions and how it affects not just us, but those around us. And as these children grow up now, I'm sure this man will be waiting for the woman to invest all her effort and time and resources on these children, only for him to show up when they're adults, probably doing well, to show his face and expect that they will show him love. May God protect her. May God protect every woman out there and man out there doing it all alone, because it's not easy. And then, you know, you just have to keep praying for each other and lending a hand to all of the people out there who are downtrodden. Okay, that's the end of my video. I hope you guys make a comment if you have any thoughts, and let me know what you think. Thank you for tuning to Cannibal Diva Chronicles. I hope